Welcome to Knowledgeable. This is a channel where we explore the forces that shape our world in simple and clear ways. Today's topic is: what happens when a country goes broke? Money is the lifeblood of a modern nation. It pays government workers, it builds roads and hospitals. It funds the military, schools, and emergency services. Every function that keeps a country running depends on a steady flow of money. But what happens when that money runs out? When a country goes broke, it does not look like a single dramatic moment. There is no alarm that suddenly sounds. Instead, the collapse happens in stages. Each stage makes life harder for ordinary people, while leaders struggle to hold the system together. This is what really happens when a country can no longer pay its bills. The first warning sign is usually debt. Most countries borrow money. Borrowing itself is not a problem. Governments take loans to build infrastructure, invest in development, or respond to emergencies. As long as the economy grows and tax revenue increases, those loans can be repaid over time. Trouble begins when debt grows faster than the economy. If a country keeps borrowing but growth slows down, investors begin to worry. They ask a simple question: will this country be able to pay us back? When doubt appears, lenders demand higher interest rates. That means the country must pay more just to borrow money. Debt becomes more expensive. The budget becomes tighter. At this stage, governments often try to hide the problem. They may borrow even more to cover old debts. They may reduce spending quietly. They may print more money. These actions can delay the crisis, but they rarely solve it. Eventually, the country reaches a breaking point. This moment is called a sovereign debt crisis. It happens when a government cannot meet its debt payments. It may miss an interest payment. It may fail to repay a loan. Once that happens, the country is considered to be in default. Default changes everything. Investors lose confidence immediately. Foreign lenders stop giving new loans. International markets react quickly. The country's currency often falls in value. Importing goods becomes more expensive overnight. For ordinary citizens, the crisis begins to feel real. The government suddenly has less money to spend. To survive, it must make painful decisions. It may cut public sector salaries. It may reduce pensions. It may cancel infrastructure projects. Social programs shrink. Hospitals receive less funding. Schools struggle to operate. At the same time, prices begin to rise. If the country depends on imported fuel, food, or medicine, a weaker currency makes those items more expensive. Inflation increases. People notice that their money does not go as far as it used to. Savings lose value. Salaries fail to keep up with rising costs. In severe cases, inflation can spiral into hyperinflation. This happens when prices rise so quickly that money loses meaning. People rush to spend their wages immediately, because waiting even a few days makes everything more expensive. Businesses struggle to plan. Workers demand higher pay. The government may print even more money to cover its expenses, which makes inflation worse. A vicious cycle begins. Banks are often the next to feel the pressure. When a government is in crisis, people fear losing their savings. They rush to withdraw cash from banks. This is called a bank run. If too many people withdraw at once, banks do not have enough cash available. To stop the panic, governments may freeze bank accounts or limit withdrawals. This protects the financial system, but it also traps people's savings. Trust in the banking system collapses. Businesses cannot access loans. Investment stops. Economic activity slows down even further. Unemployment begins to rise. As government spending falls and businesses close or shrink, workers lose jobs. Young people find it especially hard to enter the job market. Skilled workers may leave the country in search of better opportunities abroad. This brain drain weakens the country's future even more. Public services start to break down. Roads are not repaired. Power outages become more common. Public transportation becomes unreliable. Hospitals may face shortages of basic supplies. Teachers may go unpaid. Strikes become frequent. Daily life becomes uncertain. Political pressure builds quickly during a financial collapse. Citizens protest rising prices and falling living standards. Trust in leaders declines. Governments may change through elections, or they may fall through unrest. Political instability often follows economic collapse. In some cases, the military becomes involved. In others, new populist leaders promise quick solutions. These solutions rarely fix the deeper economic problems. When a country goes broke, it often turns to international organizations for help. Institutions like the International Monetary Fund offer emergency loans, but this help comes with conditions. Governments are required to reduce spending, raise taxes, and reform their economies. These measures are known as austerity. Austerity is painful. Public wages may be cut. Subsidies may be removed. Taxes may rise during an already difficult time. While these steps can stabilize finances in the long term, they often increase short-term hardship for ordinary people. This creates a difficult balance between economic recovery and social stability. Currency crises can make the situation even worse. If people lose faith in the national currency, they may start using foreign currencies instead. This reduces the government's control over its own economy. It also makes it harder to recover through traditional monetary policies. In extreme cases, countries abandon their own currency entirely. International trade also suffers. When a country defaults, it becomes risky to do business with. Importers demand payment in advance. Exporters struggle to find buyers. Trade slows down. Shortages of goods become more common. Fuel shortages can disrupt transportation. Food shortages can create humanitarian crises. Medicine shortages can cost lives. The crisis is not just financial. It becomes social. Inequality often increases during national bankruptcy. Those with foreign assets or access to hard currency may protect their wealth. Those who depend on local wages suffer the most. The gap between rich and poor widens. Social tensions rise. Crime rates may increase as economic opportunities disappear. Informal markets grow. Corruption can become more widespread as officials try to benefit from the chaos. Yet, even in the middle of collapse, recovery is possible. Countries have gone broke before and rebuilt. The process is slow and difficult, but not impossible. The first step toward recovery is restoring trust. Investors need to believe the country can manage its finances responsibly. Citizens need to trust their currency and institutions again. This often requires new leadership, transparent policies, and credible economic reforms. Debt restructuring is usually part of the solution. Instead of repaying all debts immediately, countries negotiate with lenders to extend deadlines or reduce the total amount owed. This gives the economy room to breathe. Economic growth is essential for long-term recovery. Countries must rebuild industries, attract investment, and create jobs. Education, innovation, and stable governance become critical. Diversifying the economy reduces dependence on a single resource or sector. Over time, stability can return. Inflation slows. Jobs reappear. Public services improve. International markets slowly regain confidence. But the scars of a financial collapse can last for generations. People who lived through such crises often become cautious savers. Trust in institutions may never fully recover. Political landscapes can change permanently. A country going broke is not just an economic event. It is a test of social strength, political stability, and national resilience. The numbers on financial charts represent real lives, real jobs, real families. Understanding what happens during national bankruptcy helps explain why governments work so hard to avoid it. It also explains why financial decisions made today can shape the lives of millions tomorrow. In the end, when a country runs out of money, the true cost is paid not in currency, but in human hardship. And rebuilding requires more than loans and policies. It requires trust, stability, and time. Thank you for watching Knowledgeable. If you found this video helpful, please share it with others who enjoy learning about how the world works. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more informative content. Let us know in the comments what topic you would like us to cover next. Until next time, keep learning and stay informed.